Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host Tom Dunn, and today we are celebrating Veterans Day, and I'm with Larry Downing, the curator of the Port Hueneme Historical Society Museum. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you.
Larry and the museum are putting on the celebration that we're going to videotape shortly, and honoring the veterans, and it's the second annual one. The first one was last year. So Larry, would you tell the viewers what they can expect to see in the video?
Today you can expect to see Captain Bob Quinn will be the MC. Mayor Figg will be welcoming guests and making some short remarks. Congresswoman Julia Bromley will be here to talk in support of the veterans and announcing that veterans will not have to travel down to West LA anymore. They'll have their own facility in Ventura. Then you'll have Jackie Irwin, who will be talking about what she's doing for veterans things in the state capitol. And then you'll have Jess Ramirez, a veteran of the Vietnam War, who also is a Oxnard Harbor District, talking about his service. And then you'll have Captain Russ Gold,
Yes.
who will be speaking in place of Kathy Long. And we'll also have Captain Mike Somm, commander of CB Construction Battalion 1, who will be the featured speaker, who will talk about what the CBs have done, past veterans, his family. And then you'll have Henry Travers Bard Newton talking about his uncle being at the Battle of Antietam, and his great-grandfather being at the Battle of Gettysburg, and doing the final prayer. We'll also have Commander Bill Stewart, who will be singing the CB fight song directly after Captain Mike Somm does his.
Wow, that's quite a program, and this is the second year you've been doing it, and everybody I've run into said thank you so much for doing this. So we hope you stay tuned and watch the video of the second annual Veterans Day celebration. Yes, Larry.
And thank you, Tom Dunn, for helping us get this out to the community.
Okay.
It's a crucial part of everything, is getting the information to the community to let them know things are happening. Thank you, Tom.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
For the presentation of the colors by the Hueneme High School Junior ROTC. Present the colors. Master Chief Jim Daniels will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in saluting our flag of our great country. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
The Boys and Girls Club members of Port Hueneme and Oxnard will now sing the national anthem. Colonel Clay Cowgill, U.S. Air Force, retired, commander of VFW Post 3935, will give us an invocation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day in our city of Port Hueneme. Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we stand here today to pay tribute to brave men and women, living and dead, who have served their country in the armed forces. Accept our thanksgiving for their sacrifices and the sacrifices of their families, which have purchased for us a free land. Cause us never to take for granted their devotion to liberty. Let our spirits be proud of them. Let our hearts be compassionate. Let our minds be clear and determined in giving them the honor and the respect they deserve. Enkindle within us a flame of selflessness, unwavering devotion to duty, that we may never be found wanting in those qualities of spirit and mind which are able to preserve our homes, our communities, and the peace of our nation. Keep our memories alive with gratitude, and our gratitude alive with faithfulness to the principles which made our nation great. Grant, we pray, joy and fulfillment to those living, and for those who are at rest, please grant your peace. Amen.
Retire the colors. Please be seated. I want to quickly introduce a number of VIPs and guests. Will not introduce the folks who are part of the program. We'll get them individually. They're not in order of seniority or precedence. It's the order they happen to come in and sign in. From the Junior ROTC unit, Pablito Quiachon. The commanding officer of the Ben Morrell Sea Cadet Battalion, Ramon Casas. Orvine Carpenter, that's you, Orvine. Bill Stewart, we're going to get him later. Jim Hensley.
Right here, sir. Thank you.
Good to see you, Jim. Tony Volante. They got your rank wrong on this thing, Tony. Or did you forget when you came in? Sylvia Munoz Snop, City Council. John Sharkey, City Council. And Jess Herrera, Oxnard Harbor District.
Yeah, Jeff. Yes, sir, Jeff.
And if we missed anybody, I apologize, but that gives you good reason to be here next year and let us know you're coming so we can properly recognize you. We'll now continue with the program. The Mayor of City of Port Hueneme, Tom Figg, give a few welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Captain Quinn. Welcome. I'm honored to be here with you to celebrate this great day. Before we get into the program, there are a couple of acknowledgments that I want to make. First and foremost are the volunteers and the city staff, volunteers of the Historical Museum of Port Hueneme, who really are the driving force behind this celebration. This is the second effort of that, and we're so pleased that they would sponsor this, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Yeah, please give them a round of applause. Next, I want to celebrate our future leaders, the Sea Cadets. the junior ROTC. They make us all proud. They're all part of our community, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But thank you so much for making this a special occasion as well. So today's program is not just about veterans today. It's about past, present, and future. I had the privilege earlier this year to speak to the Retired Reserve Officers Association of the West Coast here at the Bard Mansion. And I did a little homework in advance of speaking to that group, and I was quite surprised. I guess I shouldn't be, but I was pleased with some of the statistics I found. I learned that when we're talking about past and present, that some 28% of our population in the city of Port Hueneme is recognized as veterans. That's compared to 12% nationwide. So we have quite a contingent of retired and active military in our community. And you might ask, why is that significant? Because we're not here just to celebrate military service, we're here to celebrate community as well. And what I found, compared to the population at large, our veterans, both past and present, have higher education levels, have higher degrees of employment, and have generally higher incomes than the population at large. So that just simply indicates how, you know, veterans celebrating their service is one thing, but let's don't forget about their value and contribution to the community. So then we get into the future. And I already talked a little bit about how the Sea Cadets and the ROTC program contributes to our community. These programs, much like the veterans that are here today, excel in all their educational pursuits. They excel in their academics in terms of their GPA. They excel in terms of being good students in their schools. They have the lowest dropout rate of any of the other students that are not in those programs. So again, we're lucky to have these programs in our community, and I certainly urge you to support those efforts, because I can tell you firsthand, having had a son gone through the ROTC program, it made a world of difference. These programs really are based or founded on the principles of honor, respect, good citizenship. And it doesn't matter what career path that they pursue, because these programs aren't about recruiting for the military. They're about giving our youth a foundation, a moral compass. And again, I can tell you firsthand how valuable they are. So we deserve to give them their support. Now, I want to bridge the past and the present. I was hoping to see this individual here today. We all have stories about veterans and our families and our network of friends that we celebrate. Well, I have one too. His name is Chief Stephen Hayes. Chief Stephen Hayes is the lead instructor at the Junior ROTC program. He also happens to be honored as being one of the few Seabees to receive the Shields Medal, which is to honor, it's a top honor for the Seabees across the nation. His name is in a plaque at the museum, the Seabee Museum, and if you haven't seen it, I suggest you search it out. But Mr. Hayes, or Chief Hayes, is an individual I have such great regard and respect for. He's a veteran, and now he's teaching our children to acquire the very principles I mentioned: respect, citizenship, leadership. And so I want to pay tribute to him. I was hoping he'd be here, but I'm hoping that our CB representatives will take that back to their classroom next week, and please let him know that I acknowledged his contribution. So at this point, I'd like to close by simply saying that by your attendance here, it shows that we have a common set of values. That's because we're Americans, we respect our flag, we're proud, and we're indebted to our veterans. And so I thank you very much for exhibiting that appreciation by your presence today. And in closing, God bless America. So with that, I'd like to turn it back to our MC, Captain Quinn. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for hosting this. And we now have the privilege of introducing Congresswoman Julia Brownley, represents us in Congress for District 26.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Captain, for the introduction. And I also would like to thank Mayor Fig and the city of Port Hueneme for hosting us all here on this bright and beautiful morning. I also want to thank, and really can't thank enough, Larry Downing for his hard work in putting together this great event, and really for his fierce, and I mean fierce, advocacy of our community's veterans, not only today on Veterans Day, but every day throughout the year. Today we come together as a community and as a nation to honor and celebrate our veterans, and as the mayor said, past, present, and future. Even more so, we come together to say thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your sacrifice. You swore to support and defend our nation and our Constitution. Many of you left behind loved ones to protect your fellow Americans and sometimes very distant lands. We will never forget nor take for granted what you gave up for our security and for our freedom. We also remember today the service members who have given what President Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion. Recently, Ventura County lost 2 service members who shared that devotion to our great nation. Staff Sergeant Robert Cox was killed in the military plane crash in Mississippi this summer that took the lives of 16 members of our armed forces. And last Saturday, Sergeant First Class Stephen Cribben died of wounds sustained while he was serving in Afghanistan. They both bravely served our nation with honor and distinction, and our Ventura County community mourns this horrible loss. Let us all keep their loved ones in our thoughts and prayers, and please know that we are here for you, and Ventura County's arms are wrapped around you. It is important to also recognize the families of our service members and veterans who we know serve right alongside our men and women in uniform. We express our deepest gratitude to all of you here today. Finally, I want to acknowledge a very special guest, Faye Violino, who is here with us today. Her late husband, Ignacio, was one of the 250,000 Filipinos who valiantly fought for America's armed forces in World War II. Recently, Ignacio and this community of veterans were honored at a Congressional Gold Medal ceremony in our nation's capital. Ignacio's story and the stories of the nearly 45,000 veterans who call Ventura County home capture the rich military legacy of our community. This legacy continues today with our service members stationed at Naval Base Ventura County, including Captain Mike Zom and his Seabees. The Seabees are builders, and they are also fighters. Fighters and builders defined by selfless service and a dedication to creating something bigger than themselves that would outlast themselves. This service and sacrifice is what we thank our veterans for today. And as a member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, my colleagues and I are dedicated to repaying the legacy of service with action. It is only right that our nation show our gratitude by making sure that our veterans are receiving the care and benefits they have earned and deserved. I will pass along to you that recently Congress passed a bipartisan bill to authorize 28 new VA clinics across the nation, including a new clinic right here in Ventura County, so that more veterans can get their care much closer to home. Additionally, in an effort to ensure our veterans receive the benefits that will help them lead fulfilling lives as civilians, I'm proud to say that Democrats and Republicans came together earlier this year and passed legislation that enhances and expands the GI Bill to better enable current and future veterans to pursue a higher education after their service to our nation. While it may seem like all you hear from Washington is political fighting, there remains a strong bipartisan commitment to our veterans. This is because we all share a belief that we must honor and we must recognize our veterans, that this is greater than the differences that may divide us. Today and every day, we thank our veterans for their service and their sacrifice and for our freedoms and rights that we often take for granted. So in closing, may I say God bless our veterans, God bless their families and loved ones, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Brownlee. It's now my pleasure to introduce Assemblywoman Jackie Irwin, representing us in the 44th District.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for, can you hear me? All right. Thank you for inviting me to this incredible celebration, and it's so wonderful to see the celebrations that are going on throughout our entire county. This is the second time that I've been here this week because we also had a Take Your Vet to School Day, and that program is spreading throughout the entire county, and these young people here reminded me of that. I think it's so important that the young people also understand the sacrifices that our vets have made. So at each of the schools, there were 3 or 4 vets that told their stories, and the kids were really quite enthralled with them, and it is just so important to make sure that we never forget what our veterans have done for us. Veterans Day celebrates and honors the service and sacrifice and enduring achievements of nearly 22 million Americans who served our nation in uniform, at home and abroad, both during times of war and peace. Not only should we honor those service members, past and present, but as our Congresswoman said, we need to make sure to honor the family members who supported them while they were called out to defend our nation's freedoms. As your state legislator, I would like to take a moment to tell you that there is good work being done in Sacramento to ensure our veterans receive the care and benefits that they deserve. We are tackling issues like ending veteran homelessness, putting veteran resource centers on every single college campus, and making sure that there are funds in our budget to support our veteran service officers and joint claims task force so that veterans get help with the benefits that they have earned. Good things are happening and progress is being made, yet as all of you know, there is much work still to be done. And I pledge that as your assembly member, I will continue to do all that I can do. Today, while we celebrate all those who have served and sacrificed for our nation, I challenge all of you to ask yourselves, what more can I do to benefit and be mindful of our common purpose, which is to honor and serve those who have given so much to protect us, our country, and our way of life. To all the veterans in attendance today, I would like to raise my voice with the rest of our community and say, thank you for your service.
Another veteran is up next. Representing Kelly Long from the County 3rd District, Captain Paul Grosco.
Thank you, Bob. Supervisor Kelly Long sends her regrets. She was not able to be here today as much as she wanted to, but I just wanted to pass along her regards and also her thanks to the city of Port Hueneme and to Mayor Fig. And I also have a resolution signed by the Board of Supervisors that the Mayor, I'll leave this for you here. And she certainly appreciates all that is done for and by veterans here in Port Hueneme and Ventura County. So this Veterans Day, as every Veterans Day, I wear my dad's dog tags. He was a World War II veteran. His dad was, my grandfather was a World War I veteran. So growing up, they were my role models, my heroes, for not only myself, but also my generation. So I think it is for us now to be the role models for the rising generation, those wonderful young kids in the back. It is now our responsibility to pay that forward. So again, thank you from Supervisor Kelly Long, and I appreciate you all being here today.